This program has been brought to you thanks to the generous contributions of our patrons on Patreon. Your patronage is greatly appreciated. And for more content like this, be sure to check out the Modern Alchemist channel on Patreon.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
So what can you do to ameliorate or negate entirely the effects of these negative emotions, these negative states, which blend together and defeat you, right? They defeat your capacity to retain a rhythmic state which is associated with a higher vibratory resonance. So what are the tools that we can use? What are the emotional states that we can apply? The vibratory states, the conscious states, the willful, I choose to act this way states that will ameliorate or negate entirely the effects of pride, the need to hold a grudge, or that need to just keep burying feelings on top of each other themselves rather than coping with how we feel because we encountered a certain situation. Remember, it's really important as an alchemist when dealing with your mental transmutation to carry your own water. And what I mean by that is to be personally responsible for how you feel. It's not always someone else's or the environment's. Yes, that has a role. It plays its part, to be sure. There's no doubt about that. But ultimately, if you wish to claim personal residence, right, you need to be personally responsible then. Which means that when you lose your temper, when things overwhelm you, when you have that breaking point, you have to own that as well and recognize that something happened that requires your attention if you choose to not have that happen again. If you choose to have it happen again, do nothing about it and it'll happen again, most certainly. But if you choose to have a greater command over yourself, to be the captain of your destiny, this is one of the ways to do that, and one of the most profound ways. Because the ocean may be raging against you, but you as captain can go, yeah, well, we're going to keep sailing, aren't we? Because we are unsinkable. And that's it. That's what is the mental transmutation that is required. It's sort of that whole Doctor Who thing that I had mentioned a little while ago. Why does he always win? Because it never occurs to him to lose. He goes in with the assumption of victory. That's a very high vibratory state right there. Very high vibratory state. One that can take on and has a high degree of capacitance and high energetic input or output and influence on the environment because of that state. Well, how do you get there? How does one do that? How do you armor yourself against all this stuff? The first and foremost thing that I have found that is so simple and so strengthening is gratitude. Gratitude will negate entirely pride. It will absolutely negate pride by being grateful. Drawing on things in your life that you are truly grateful for. Anchor points in your life that you are grateful for. And that you're grateful with the recognition that all of that is subject to rhythm. So gratitude is for me, the number one. To actually be grateful. To look around, recognize your life, what you have, recognize that the principle of rhythm allows for things to end. So if things are glum, things are terrible, things are difficult, things are physically or emotionally, mentally painful, you can be grateful in your assurance that that too will come to an end. And for me, that's often something that pulls you through. With gratitude then comes humility. And humility leads you to selflessness. It just does. Each one of these then becomes a stepping stone. One cannot have and hold a grudge if they are humble, right? It literally, it stands in the way. And by humility, I mean that you have awareness and recognize that the plight of your human existence is shared. That everyone else around you is dealing with being human, dealing with what that means, not knowing, constant uncertainty, constant fear of the unknown, the unexpected, the unforeseen. Everybody, everywhere, all the time, all of us are dealing with that. And to recognize that most people are doing it without ever saying anything about it. They're just moving along and doing their thing and succeeding at what they are applying themselves to do. To me, that is cause for humility. That's cause for recognition and the strength that I get to draw from, because all of us are in this together. All of us, all the time, sharing our environment, mental and physical. Regardless of where we may be living right now, we are still unified in our conscious states. So that's something that to me that creates and engenders a fertile ground where humility can take root. And the last thing then is to have good humor. That's the last thing. That immediately eliminates the whole burying of feelings, because good humor recognizes often the absurdity of it all and is able to laugh at that. And it is essential that that is balanced, that one can be serious and one can find levity in the seriousness. That something can be grave and funny at the same time. That your life can incorporate all that, and the recognition that the ability to laugh about it is an ability to release it, to let it go. Those are my techniques, like my most fundamental approaches to maintaining a vibratory state which is elevated, which has a higher degree of capacitance. Because someone who is humble, someone who is full of mirth and good humor, somebody who recognizes with gratitude all of the things that are present within their life, and recognizes that regardless of all of the achievements that are present within your life, all of the things that you've done, there is always one more sphere of influence outside of that which permitted it to happen. And so therefore, another reason to be grateful. That ultimately, because that exists, you are then capable of doing what you want and striving to understand who you are and your place in things and what your will is all about and what drives you and swings you within the rhythmic flow of your life, and how to cinch that up and how to get some control. That's all part of this. And all of it, to me, is worthy of gratitude. So, I hope that this has been of some help. Remember, this is just an introduction. We have a whole bunch more to talk about. But now you have something to use, something that you can apply in your life, which works, which physically works. It works whether it is emotional or physical discomfort. It works in recognition of how things work within your life, jobs, feelings, friendships, not friendships, tensions at work. All of that goes through a flow, and all of it can be, to one degree or another, transmuted as a result of your choice to have an internal locus of control, to recognize that you can polarize your vibratory state so that you have control of the volatility or the aspect of volatility that is present within the natural rhythm and flow of your life. All right, I'm Aubrey Forrest, the Modern Alchemist, and this has been Alchemy Lab on the Modern Alchemist channel. I'll be talking to you soon.